Hi there, and welcome to Due to Underwhelming Demand, the podcast nobody needed.
Or
It's
asked
back.
for.
Or asked for. It's back.
Yeah. It really was underwhelming because there was no demand. Zero.
Nope. But we did it anyway.
And
Well,
yet
we did it anyway.
the
Here we
cat
are.
came back. Here we
It's-
all are.
It's we used to have a little radio show, and now we have a little podcast. It's Dave, Rachel, and Forman. First off, thank you to those who have contacted us, who downloaded the podcast. It's been underwhelming.
No, it's been overwhelming.
That part was overwhelming, actually.
Yeah.
I was floored at how many people downloaded and responded and said they loved the first couple podcasts. So thank you so much. We thought maybe we would float one or two out and see how these went. But since you listened, we'll keep doing them. We'll keep
There's
at
been
it.
so many great comments. I think my favorite, and I think it's safe to read this one because of what it says. It's from Nancy.
Uh-huh.
And she wrote, I didn't hear you all this morning. I'm not sure what a podcast is. So she doesn't know I've just made fun of her.
Oh, she might by
Did she
now.
turn on the radio?
She might by now. She might by now.
And Nancy, if you can hear this, I'm so glad you figured it out. Thank you and welcome
Yes.
to this
Oh,
awful
yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of people that said, how do I get it? Where do I go? I had to do a tutorial with a group of friends of mine to be like, here's how you access a podcast.
What year
Not
is
every...
it?
Huh? Well, not everybody's into them yet. So if you're here, thank you. And we're glad you figured it out and found us.
All right. So this
'Cause we
is
still want to connect with you.
yeah, this is edition number 3, I believe. I think. Yeah, it's number 3.
Yep,
And
it
if
is.
you want to get a hold of us, there's a lot of. I mean, you can comment on some of the social media. But we do have an email. What's the email? I don't even know the email. What's the email?
Dave Rachel Foreman at gmail.com. That's
Well,
our
that
email.
seems very simple.
There's no E in Foreman, just so you know. Dave
Oh, yeah.
Rachel Foreman at gmail.com is our
Not-
email. You can email us anytime.
I'm
Okay.
not a foreman on a construction site. I'm just some guy who's named Foreman.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And not
Okay.
really,
That's right.
because it's not my name either. So
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
maybe
it.
we could address that again because I also like to talk about how you look like Bernard the Elf from the Santa Claus, which they're doing a new one. Did you guys see that?
Calm
Tim
down.
Allen
He's in
is
it.
back.
isn't
down.
Bernard in it too again?
I think
I
so.
hope so.
Yeah, they're bringing back
He
everybody.
reminds me Foreman looks just like him. I can't wait.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the term "jump the shark," Rachel? Never mind. You probably haven't. You
Only from
probably
you.
haven't. Okay.
Only
Well,
from
let's
you.
get started today because of the three of us. Up until recently, none of us had been in a hurricane. Turns out
Right.
that's all changed. Little Foreman found a hurricane.
Oh, baby Foreman's first hurricane.
I think it found me, that's for sure.
Okay.
It found you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
But
the-
you're safe and you're fine, so
Yeah,
we
we
can
only
talk
had
about it.
only had one day without power, which many people at the time of recording, it's been days, still no
Yes.
power. It is officially the most powerful storm to ever hit Canada. And it was just such a weird experience where the worst of it started about 1 a.m. and everyone's awake. And so there's Ashley and I, and then Harley, who's 9, and Emily, who's 5. We're all sitting on Harley's bed because she has the biggest bedroom window looking out over the street, over the neighborhood, essentially. We're all sitting there feeling the house shaking and feeling
my
the
gosh.
bed physically shaking. Can see the curtains swaying because of how much the house is moving. Look in the
Oh,
toilet
wow.
and the bathroom, the water is sloshing back and forth. So that's how much
wow.
everything's moving. It's
Wow.
unreal. And we were only on the fringe. We weren't in Cape Breton or Newfoundland where it's the absolute worst case scenario. We're on the
Right.
fringe near Halifax and it was still that bad.
Okay. So
wow, that's crazy.
you don't
So
have.
Foreman, you just moved out there
Yeah.
a year or
don't-
two ago? How long's it been now?
It's been a year and a half.
A year and a
You're
half.
bit- Okay. You're not. You don't. Your house isn't anywhere near the ocean.
No, we're pretty far inland actually. Yeah,
Wow.
Well,
what were some
not
of
as
the
far as we
I think
are,
we
but
had
okay. Yeah, sure.
there's 179 kilometer an hour winds. which was
Wow.
insane. There's like 30-meter waves that it produced. And of course,
so how did you prepare? Like, you know, because you've never experienced a hurricane. So what
No.
did you do or not do that maybe you wished you did?
Well, maybe should have bought a generator. That would have worked.
Maybe.
I
Mhm.
didn't, you don't really understand why do so many people have generators until you realize when the power goes out on the East Coast and all the power lines are above ground, it goes out in a second and it stays out for days. Every
Wow.
time. Snowstorm, no power for days. Regular storm, no power for days. It's out. So we don't have a generator, and we should have had one. Luckily, our power, again, though, was only off for a day. Otherwise, we would have been losing food. There's a house down the street. We've made friends with these guys who used to live in a different place. They moved into our neighborhood, built this house brand new, and designed it all so that the whole home had a built-in backup system running off of propane and generators, and they were set. It's like they're having a whole full-blown party. They turn on all the lights just to rub it in everyone's face, I think.
Wow. That's unreal. They have a whole built-in backup system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's cool. So did you
and-
go over there?
We did actually for a while and charged some phones
Good.
and got some hot coffee. Yep.
Good.
Entertained the kids
Nice.
for a while.
I've always
but-
maintained that for whatever reason, I don't want to be around a tornado. I have no desire to be around a tidal wave. I don't much care for
Me
snowstorms.
neither.
But
No.
for some reason, I'm intrigued by hurricanes. I don't know why. They tend to hit now. Obviously, they approach you from the sea, so the closer you are to water, to the ocean, your chances of seeing or being caught in a hurricane are greater. But I always feel like when these people are all leaving, and I get why they're leaving, I would be tempted to stay. And you stay. I mean, you didn't have to. You were never told to evacuate. There's a part of me that if I happen to be in Florida, or let's say I happen to be in Cape Breton when this occurred, I'd be like, yeah, I'd like to stay. Now, my wife maintains I wouldn't, because I hate it when the power goes out. I complain, I grumble, I do all of that stuff. So I probably
Yeah.
would hate it.
It's
But-
a massive inconvenience.
I'm just so interested in, a hurricane. I'm intrigued by it. And you guys sat on the bed and watched everything shake.
Mm-hmm. And shaking, and then you don't have power, which means you don't have internet. And what fun thing to find out that also the data on your phone, the cell service, also wasn't giving you data or internet either.
Oh, wow.
So
I wouldn't like
so
that. I wouldn't like
legitimately-
any of that.
No, the only thing you have is I think it's called a live podcast. I think radio. The radio, you can listen to the radio. That's like a live podcast.
One of
You can
those
do
things.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the radio.
I did
Yeah.
one the first workday after Fiona, talked to a few people. I just wanted to share a couple of these clips with you because they were having way worse days than I ever did through this whole scenario.
Hmm.
I am sitting in Woodville in West Hants watching a tree burn off on my power lines. Right now it looks like a sprinkler or a sparkler, I should say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Holy
no
cow.
A little further out of town, I talked to Molly. She was at this comfort center at a community hall where you could go and get food and water and charge your phones and that kind of thing.
We have no power. We have a generator here as a comfort center, but the community has no power. They have no cell phones, no internet, and we don't see any trucks around helping out.
So
Ouch.
she's a little bit salty about that too.
Little salty. Yeah. Well, it's tough when everyone's down and the trucks are just trying to get around, right? Or trees are blocking their routes or whatever. Like, that's hard.
And then
Yeah.
think of this, first work day after the storm. It's been storming all weekend. You're trying to pretend like it's a normal day. There was a massive thunderstorm that morning, huge downpour again. And then this is how Mike started his day.
Oh, it was good until I walked into my car and realized that somehow I managed to leave my window halfway open and sitting on some towels now, so it's all good.
Oh, my.
Wait a second. He left his windows.
Wow.
He didn't leave his windows open during a hurricane, did he?
No, it's completely unrelated to the hurricane. Just
Oh,
that's your luck.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, I'm glad you survived your first hurricane. My sister's in Cape Breton, and they were okay. They were out of power for longer than you, but they had a generator, so They learned after many times that they needed to get one, so they did.
I mean, everyone watched the news. I feel like if you didn't have one of the homes that got swept out to sea, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That's
Wow.
true. That's very true.
Yeah, that's crazy out there.
We're happy to have you still with us, Forman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll keep coming to you with live podcasts, by the way, with Melody and Forman on Hot Country 103.5.
Okay.
Perfect. Live
sure.
podcasts on the,
sure.
is it radio?
Yeah, you
Radio.
get that, don't you? Yeah. Okay.
I wish.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's
All right, this is
some
due to
music, isn't it?
underwhelming demand. Your podcast, Dave, Rachel, and Forman. Thank you for the downloads, and thanks for all the messages and everything else. And thank you.
Yeah,
for
thanks for
finding it.
listening. We're glad that you enjoy it, and we enjoy talking with you. So we hope that you continue to listen. You
Hey,
can message us anytime. Follow us on social media, Dave, Rachel, and Forman on Instagram and Facebook. And the podcast is due to underwhelming demand, obviously. Here we are.
You remember we used to do a little thing called is that a good or a bad idea? Remember we used to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you have one for us today?
Well, kind of. I did some traveling recently because I don't do anything anymore. So I have time to travel. And so we spent some time. It's a little easier, too, because, you can cross the border and all that stuff. So I spent some time in the U.S. And a lot of people my age, we have an iPad, and we believe that if we have, little puzzle games on our iPad, that it will save our, that we will not lose our minds and,
Yes, keeps you
forget
sharp.
things. Keeps you sharp. By the way,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. I am not sharp.
Oh, no, you're not
No,
sharper?
none of that.
How
stuff
do the pictures turn out when you're at a tourist attraction and you hold up your whole iPad?
That's right. Exactly. So I got the iPad with me. I'm traveling in the U.S. and I'm getting ads on my little puzzle games to keep myself sharp.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
keep getting this same ad from Sara Lee. Sara Lee, the cake people. Don't they make? I
Yeah.
don't even know what Sara Lee makes, but they make bread.
Yeah, like little cakes and stuff, don't they? Little
Sara Lee
like prepackaged cake things.
has created the greatest thing since sliced bread. In fact,
Oh,
it is sliced bread.
really? Well, that's
What?
not
Yes.
novel.
That's sliced bread is the invention by which all other inventions are measured. We all know that, right?
That's
Like,
true. Yes.
E-
Fair.
Every
That's fair.
invention that's come along, like, I don't know, the iPhone, greatest thing since sliced bread. Because
Yeah, okay.
apparently at some point we really must have needed sliced bread. Because
Yes.
that's how we measure.
Saves so much time
That's how we measure
and
all
probably fingers.
That's right. We put a man on the moon. That's the
Yes.
best thing since sliced bread. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay sharp on my iPad and getting these ads for Sara Lee for
Mhm.
bread that's already buttered. I know.
Why? What do you mean? I know. Why do you need buttered bread?
Well, I don't know why I need buttered bread, but I feel like it's something I need. I'm not sure why, but
What-
this in 2022,
I don't think that's a necessity.
in this year of 2022, why did it take so long? Why has it taken? I mean, if we had sliced bread 100 years ago, why didn't we figure out how to butter it too?
Right.
Am I
mean,
right?
we do butter our bread, but just not ahead of time, generally.
No, Sara Lee now does it for you.
Yeah.
It's pre-buttered.
Already. Yes, it's already buttered bread. And all I
And
could
this is
think of was, I need that.
And this is
And
at all
th-
grocery
this is-
stores right now?
Well,
Is
that's
this in the States?
yeah, that's the fun part. So I see this ad 3 or 4 times, and I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Anyway, we were in fact in a grocery store, and at one point I think I found myself in the bread aisle, and I thought, well, I'll just see if they have that sliced bread. Let me see if they have that sliced buttered
Okay.
bread. They
Yeah.
do. Lots
Do
of it.
they?
And I had one in my hand, and in the buggy it went. And my wife turned to me and said, "What's that?" I said, "It's Sara Lee's already buttered bread. We don't need that."
Yeah, I'm with Jana. I'm with your wife on that. I don't know
Why? What
what's
is
the
wrong
point?
with you?
Well,
I'm
how long?
still-
How good can that be for very long? Like,
I
really?
don't. How good can it be for very long? Who cares?
I
You
don't
know
know.
who's
I
on
think
our
you,
side? Rachel, you know who's on our side, and Dave knows
Who?
this very well too, is Jeremy. This is invented for Rachel.
My husband, Jeremy.
You freeze your butter. How could you
Yes,
ever
you
get it
freeze-
onto bread? It's frozen.
Yeah, you froze your butter for. You used to freeze
Well, that's true.
cheese.
I freeze cheese. I freeze butter because I like to buy things in bulk. So in the freezer they go, so they last.
For the
Now,
hurricane.
if you buy the salted
when
butter,
the
it
hur-
lasts longer. You know, it has a longer shelf life.
Yeah, it has a longer shelf life on a shelf.
No, butter. Well, yeah, so it is kind of hard when it comes out of the fridge.
You've
or
never
freezer.
been able to butter bread properly because it just rips the bread apart.
Well,
This is your invention.
yeah.
It should be Rachel
you know what?
Gilbert.
Sometimes, and I admit, I have to put the butter in the microwave for like 5 to 7 seconds just to soften it. Something Forman can't do because he doesn't own a microwave.
Something Foreman doesn't
That-
like to do.
while we're pointing fingers here, while we're pointing fingers today,
Like, well, you're just gonna melt the butter. You
it doesn't.
need.
Not if it's
That-
only 5 to 7 seconds. No,
Okay,
then
you-
it's fine.
You definitely need Sara Lee's already buttered bread. It's for you,
I
Rachel.
don't feel like I do, but
It's a great idea.
you might have a slight point, maybe. But I make do with the bread with the butter and bread that I have. Anyway, did you try this bread? Buttered
no, we
bread?
didn't buy it. I wasn't allowed to get it.
Oh, you didn't buy it. I
No.
thought this was like
We don't
something
need
you're
that.
adamant about.
No,
And
we
you
didn't
didn't even
need that.
have
I
it.
still haven't tried it. One day,
Wow,
Yeah,
you are so
by the way.
deprived.
if you're looking for a Christmas gift idea, there you go.
Buttered
For
bread for Dave.
Yes, please. Already
No,
buttered.
I don't care about the buttered bread. While you're at it, somebody buy Forman a microwave.
All right, where's the bell? Somebody hit the bell.
Oh yeah, where's that bell?
This music is killing me today.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I want to tell you about the bus stop because now that I am not working doing the morning show, I'm home. I'm doing the bus drop-offs and pickups every day at the bus stop, which is right down the street from us, so it's very close. Our bus
Uh-huh.
stop's huge this year. There's like 20 kids at this bus stop,
Mhm.
and our driver is new, and his name, I don't want to give away names, but I call him Jimmy Buffett because he was wearing a Margaritaville shirt on the first day. So I call him our bus driver, Jimmy Buffett, and he's great. It's, he's
Okay.
a great guy.
Mhm.
So he picks up all the kids for our bus, and I don't know. He's trying to learn all the kids' names, and so it's slow to get all the kids on the bus, and especially the little kids, and then let them off the bus because he wants to make sure each kid has a parent to go to. So it's chaos at our bus stop. It's chaos, and it takes a long time. There's a lot of parents. There's a lot of kids. Behind our bus, though, is the bus that goes to the French school.
Mhm.
And that bus is driven by a driver that we'll call Bob. Okay. And Bob is not having any of this chaos that is occurring at our bus stop.
Mhm.
The other thing with Jimmy Buffett is that he's late every single day, like 5 to 10 minutes late. And so really the two buses shouldn't overlap ever, but they do every day because Jimmy's late. And so Bob gets really mad that he's late. So every day you can see the two buses turn into our subdivision, and we don't know which one's first, right? Because they're both buses. But then if we see one of them turn, we know that that's Bob because Bob's going the other way first to avoid Jimmy because Jimmy takes too much time and Bob gets angry. And then he yells at the parents of the French school kids, like, what's going on with Jimmy's bus? He's infringing on my bus time and my bus schedule. So this has been going on since the beginning of school, which is at this time a few weeks now.
Mhm.
So finally, the other day, Jimmy made it there first, and then Bob turns the corner and then comes back around because he's going the opposite route so he can avoid our bus stop, which is, again, very chaotic. And then he stops and picks up the kids, and we're there. And he says to us and the parents of the French school kids, what time is he supposed to be here? Because he's had it with Jimmy.
Right.
He's
I
had
see.
it with this bus driver.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, well, he's late. He's like, yeah, I know he's late. he's like, I have to go the other way. So it's the battle of the bus drivers every day because I can't remember their names because I've made up names for them. Bob gets very mad at Jimmy. I don't think Jimmy knows that Bob gets mad, but it's just like an endless cycle of chaos and anger because Bob is like an old man that's like pretty set in his ways, we think. So when he's mad about the schedule, he's pretty angry and curt with the kids and the parents.
I think I resent that a little bit, but I'm not Bob.
Oh, really?
I feel like you're stereotyping.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
he is an old man and set in his ways. So.
Okay. Well, the other guy is clearly. Why is the other guy late, Olin? Why is Jimmy Buffett late? Fun fact, he's looking for his lost shaker of salt.
Yes, I think that's why. I think Jimmy Buffett's a little more lax, although he's really hardcore about making sure the kids have a parent to go to, and he knows he's learning all the kids' names, and he's got the list of each kid, and he calls them up. Your turn to get off the bus. So it takes a long time. We're there for a good 5 minutes letting kids off the bus, which is a long time when you're just standing there.
So
anyway.
if I were correct to summarize, one bus driver is always on time, and you have another bus driver who's slightly late.
Yeah. And they're not supposed to overlap, but they do.
And neither of them are pleased by that.
No, Jimmy doesn't care. I don't think Jimmy Buffett cares.
Oh, so only one is not pleased.
Yeah, the other one's not pleased. Yeah.
Huh. Fun story.
Yeah.
This is my whole life now, guys. I don't go out anymore. I'm home, and this is my whole life. It's a bus driver. It's the battle of the bus drivers.
Yeah, it's
every
enviable.
day we're like, what time is Jimmy going to show up? We don't know. Right. It's a toss up.
So we show up for a podcast. You want to,
and that's what I bring you.
Yeah, Forman's got a hurricane.
Yeah,
I got the
you're
greatest.
Talking about already buttered bread.
I got the greatest invention since sliced bread.
Oh, okay.
Am I right, Forman? I think I am.
Sliced buttered bread. You're damn right.
That's right. And this is what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
What? It's
now
not even a battle
that way.
Here you called it the battle of the bus drivers. It's not a battle if one guy isn't battling. He doesn't care.
Well,
no. I feel like there's no battle
I
here.
don't know if the one guy knows there's a battle. Bob,
that's right.
It's a battle for Bob.
It can't be a battle if one person doesn't know.
Well, okay, fine. I'm at a practice. I'm at a practice for a show, and I have no life anymore. This is what you get.
All right, well,
I don't miss you guys either.
Thanks for participating in the podcast today. If you downloaded the podcast, thank you very much. You know how to get a hold of us, don't you? It's DaveRachelForman@gmail.com.
Yeah, or just look us up Instagram, at Dave Rachel Forman. On Facebook, we're at Dave Rachel Forman, Due to Underwhelming Demand podcast.
We
also have a new thing that because we have some costs related to this podcast, we have a new thing called Buy Me a Coffee. And I think you can just donate like whatever. It's buymeacoffee.com/underwhelming.
Okay.
Underwhelming/underwhelming. Buymeacoffee.com/underwhelming. So that's going to cover some of the costs that we have in distributing this podcast and creating it and all of that.
Okay. And it might even make one of the bus drivers
willing.
on time. I think if you there's a donation there, you can get them on time.
I think this is going to be an ongoing. I'll have updates for you later on. I'm sure that you'll be waiting with bated breath.
I cannot wait. Also,
maybe I just won't participate in the next podcast and it'll just be Dave and Forman.
another vacation week. Rachel's gone.
Rachel's gone again. And by the way, if you're interested in sponsoring the podcast or you know somebody that is, just get a hold of us. We would like that a lot. Till next time.
Yeah. Email or message.
I'd like to point out Graham is the first one to ever email us. And he's so
Graham,
lovely.
It did. Graham used to call us all the time. So
it
was so nice to hear from him.
Wasn't he in like Yellowknife or something for a while and he would call us from up there?
Could be.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. But anyway, he wrote, hearing the three of you together again really is a treat. Your friendship is so genuine and fresh that it made my mornings to listen to you. Genuine and fresh. Any commentary there, kids?
I don't know if I like you guys all that much anymore after this one.
Nope.
So
You got two good episodes out of us, Graham.
message or email us anytime, and thank you so much for listening.